What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Rage Traders NRL Supercoach video. Today, we are going to be doing my first team reveal, and a very serious team reveal. It's not a joke. Maybe last season we did a bit of a joke one, but this one's serious. And we're going to be going into my in-depth reasoning for my picks, and obviously can't do it for every pick. Take that with a grain of salt because we don't know all the cheapies that are coming around. But let's get straight into it. First and foremost, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year for when that comes around. And if you haven't seen this channel before and you want to support it, just give a like, little thumbs up, subscribe, comment if you have any questions, or just comment if you have any opinions. That'd be great. And let's just get straight into it. So starting in the hooker position, let's go straight into the reason why. Harry Grant. Now, I think there's going to be a lot of people that go with Reed Marnie. And I was an advocate for Reed Marnie, but I think I just can't go past Harry Grant being at $606,300. For those listening on audio, because I am thinking about putting this out on podcasts, let me know if you think I should do that. But Harry Grant last season had a very inconsistent season, both in a bit of scoring, but mostly just in the games he played and having a bit of break and injury. Now, starting off, he goes 61 points, has a bye, goes 26 points, 70, 53, 76. He finishes with the 62 average. And if he finishes with a 62 average, I think I'm even happy with having a 606,000 that can get me 60 points on average a game. Now, I think he can get a bit more with the loss of Pappenhausen, with the loss of Eli Katoa. I think there may be a bit more opportunity for him to be a bit more aggressive and take a bit more of even a playmaking role. But don't quote me on that. But I also think there's not a lot of the downside in this besides Melbourne absolutely self-destructing, which I can't really see because Cameron Munster, Jerome Hughes is still there. Fa'alogo, he's still going to just pop into the position, I assume, a fullback, unless that's Nick Meaney and maybe he's center. But they do and always have had people that can cover the positions, and you're seeing that now. Where I think Melbourne will drop off a lot is in terms of their forward defense and their forward structure. I think that's going to be very tough for them because the loss of Eli Katoa is huge. Obviously, Pappenhausen is massive, but Eli Katoa was just a massive workhorse for them when it comes to their attacking unit. And just getting the grind in. He was a really good kick chaser as well. So that's going to be an interesting watch. Harry Grant for me is the easy pick. Now, you can go Blake Brayley if you do want, and you can go Reed Marnie. I was tossing up between Reed Marnie and this. I think a lot of people will go Reed Marnie. I'm still deciding on that, but I've sat with Harry Grant. Another reason for this is because I really don't mind the Melbourne opening draw, and to not have Harry Grant against Parramatta at home for Melbourne, into St. George away, then Broncos, which is going to be a tough game, North Queensland away is also could be a point fiesta, and then they've got another tough game coming through with Penrith away, then New Zealand, Canberra away, Souths, Dolphins. So it's not too bad. It's actually quite a strong opening for Melbourne, and I think they're going to score quite a lot of points. And I think Harry Grant is going to be a cog in the wheel for that, like he's always been. So I don't see him. If he gets lower than this, I'll be super, super surprised, especially with versing Parramatta in the opening game, who don't have Lomax. And then versing St. George, who you don't know who's going to turn up. But St. George, actually, to me, are a different type of team at home compared to away. So that could be an interesting game. But based off their draw, really, really strong. Now, I have Brandon Smith in as my hooker too. That could change if another cheapie comes along. For now, it's just going to sit. He'll just plug away. He'll never go get an R unless he's playing incredible footy. But yeah, he's just going to sit there. And if he doesn't make cash, whatever, just sit there. Because we know about the hooker position and we know how tough it can be. And that's another reason why I'm putting Harry Grant in, because I'm hoping he has a bit of a healthier season and I don't need to worry about that again. Now, why can't I scroll? What's going on here? What's going on here? I'll just do this for now. Scroll, am I on that? Oh, here we go. Okay, perfect. All right, next I have in the front row forwards, Naf White and Jermaine Hopgood. Now, the reason why you don't see a Payne Haas or a Terrell May is just because I think they're so damn expensive, and I believe in I believe in Naf White a lot, and I believe in what the Roosters are going to do this season. I'm not saying they're going to win it. I think they're going to be a top 4 team, and I think they've got the artillery to do that. And I think Naf White is going to be the front row forward engine. He had a really nice season last season, and I think that's only going to get better. And I won't even be surprised if he makes a bit of money here, but I think he's someone that I really just want to go, yep, thank you so much. Sit there and get me a 60 or maybe a bit more, hopefully. And I'll live with that and be happy. And if he can do that, the difference in price between Naf White to the Terrell May that might get a 70 or 80, I'll live with for sure for the price difference. Now, Jermaine Hopgood is an interesting one. He has 2RF dual as well. And I think that's another plus reason why I want him. The only unfortunate is, and this could change, so don't quote me on it, but what I hear is that they're not going to be playing any home matches for the first 4 weeks because of the Matildas. So I don't know where Parramatta are playing. And again, that could be completely incorrect. If anyone knows, let me know. But again, if Jermaine Hopgood as a prop position can solidify and just stay in that role, he is going to be a really nice price to get you a 60 to 70, hopefully in games, because that's where he performs best at. And he's not a hooker. They tried that. It blew up in their face. He's gone back, and maybe that's worked into our advantage now for this season. Now, he also did have a back injury, pardon me, last season. Hopefully he's healthy there. So that's another preseason watch. But at the moment, Hopgood sits in there. And again, we also have to remember, pardon me, I actually am sick, so sorry if I cough a bit. We have to remember that there's a tiny bit of money in the bank, about 60K, I think, for memory. But I could be wrong there. But yeah, about 60K. So we can play with if we do need to swap and change that out. But yeah, very, very happy with Hopgood sitting there for now. Next is Tanela Paseka for Manly, $328,600. I think he, to me personally, providing that he actually plays and gets really good minutes and looks healthy, he's a shoo-in for me in FRF. You're paying up a bit more for him at the 328,000 mark, but I think it's warranted because his base is really good, and he's just a great player. And an unfortunate injury for him, where you just obviously now reap the rewards of that in a sense. But if you look at him last season, Tanela Paseka, before the injury, a base of 29 in 75 minutes. Then he goes base of 28, 48, 37, 37. So in base alone in his last 3 games before the injury, he's beating his price, which is really, really comforting to see. So I'm happy to put him there. And again, I'm not going to say he's the best cheapie right now. You must have him in your team. No way I'm going to say that. But I think he's very, very good and warrants being that good. And when he came back, in total, in points, we're talking about someone that has the ability of getting you 50 to 70 points as a front row forward for the price of $328,600. That is a ridiculous value. Next, I have Lazarus Falepu from Melbourne as my FRF4. I think just with the amount of things that are changing and chopping with Melbourne, the forwards is where you're going to be making the money at. This is one of them. Now, we have to pay attention to see his minutes. Last season, he wasn't getting any minutes really. But now Nelson is gone. Now there's things changing. I hope to see him get a bit more minutes. And in turn, for $235,600, that warrants a bit of money making. You don't have to flick him off or anything like that. Look, he could be someone that just is a good FRF for you to have there and hold. I'm not saying that you have to move him straight away, but I think he's a great pick and a safe pick, especially with the condition of Melbourne and how they are looking at the moment. Let's go to our 2RFs. Gosh, my throat is killing me. 2RFs, I have Toby Couchman, Cameron Murray, and Hamish Stewart. I think one of, if not both of these St. George players are going to be really good and make money. Couchman got injured last season, but still has the ability to be a top tier player. I think he has the ability to get really nice scores anywhere between a 60 and 70. Look, I could be wrong with Toby Couchman, but I think he's just a really, really good player. And Hamish Stewart, I expect, with DeBellin going, this is going to be a wait and watch to see who gets, the increased minutes, who seems to be the person that's the go-to in this team, especially in the forward pack. So yeah, this is all a preseason watch, I'd say, for the St. George Dragons for me. But if I have to, or if I think that both of these guys are going to get really good minutes and they can, break where their price is, I'm going to keep them both in for sure. Cam Murray, back from major injury. That's the only concern there. Again, another massive watch where we're looking at how he's back from his injury. But the numbers this guy can provide, he will be the workhorse of the South Sydney Rabbitohs. And in their tough opening draw, which we can discuss now, Souths have Dolphins away, Sydney Roosters away, West Tigers then a bye, which I'm not really concerned about, Bulldogs, Canberra, St. George. So that is the only thing that puts me off starting with Cam Murray. Am I better off not starting with Cam Murray, right? So let's say Cam Murray, you don't start with him. He goes Dolphins away and he gets a 60. You're like, cool, that's pretty good. Then he goes against, sorry, did I read that right? Yeah, Dolphins away. And then he goes at Sydney Roosters away, which is a grudge match, but he only gets like a 45-50. Then you're like, oh, okay. Then they verse the West Tigers, let's say he gets a 65, something like that. Is that enough to make you go, I need Cam Murray now? No. However, if you go, I'm not going to start with Cam Murray, you can then trade him in for the West Tigers game or just wait for the bye and trade him in after for the Bulldogs game. I think he could be possibly a wait until round 7-ish because we want to see the minutes that he's actually getting. Now, if he's getting huge minutes in preseason, he's a lock. Don't mind me. But I think with the way their bye is and their schedule and how they're versing some tough teams like Bulldogs and Melbourne in round 5 and round 8, there's definitely, and Canberra as well, there's definitely a way that I think you can sort of manipulate this pick through the draw. Again, maybe I'm overthinking it and you just pick him and set him and forget him. But $580,000 isn't a cheap price for someone who's coming off a major injury. They're also playing, and got their halves. Cody Walker, who's very injury prone. Same with Humphreys. He had a shocker last season with injuries. A couple of things go wrong with South, and they're back at being behind the 8 ball. Well, is it behind the 8 ball or just behind sort of like a wheel with no engine? And that's what worries me about Souths. So yeah, that's how I look at that. But yeah, again, I also want to give you my in-depth thoughts of how I'm thinking about picks. And for me, a Hamish Stewart feels much safer than a Cam Murray. I don't know if that's crazy to say, but the price and difference of 180,000 between both of them, maybe it's just a wait and watch. All right. Next in the 2RF, we've got Jesse Colquhoun. Sorry if I've pronounced that wrong. Has FRF duality. Sorry, and I also didn't mention Toby Couchman has FRF duality as well, which is what I really like about him. Jesse Colquhoun has FRF duality as well. $332,500, and really, really just an easy cheapy pick for me, to be honest with you. I don't know too much of him, how he plays, how he's going to fit into the team. I've just seen a lot of people already talking about him, so I'm just chucking him in, and I'm going to do my own sort of analysis on that when preseason comes around. But for now, fits the bill, fits the team, and is in. Brendan Piakura, $305,300. If he was like at a 400,000 mark, I wouldn't go there. If he was at even a 380 mark, I'd be really skeptical. But 305,000, that feels really nice. I think he can clear that, and I think he has the ability to do that being in a premiership team where they want to try and go kind of like back-to-back, where they are going to obviously score a lot of points this season still, and they're going to be a team that does easily challenge the top 4, if not the top spot again. It's just obviously wait and see if is there going to be the premiership hangover, or how do they sort of bounce back and say, hey, we're here to win another season? But with this guy, he can easily get you a 60, he can easily get you a 70, and pretty simple insert here. Next for Melbourne, the likely replacement for Eli Katoa, I would say, is, I think it's Atavalu Lasardi. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, I got his name wrong. $269,400. Very easy shoe-in for me. Again, this is where it gets interesting for making money on the Melbourne forwards. He's one of them. Hopefully Lazarus Valepu is another. But this guy for me, I think he'll be one of the top 5 owned players in the Supercoach League when it all starts. So he'll be a shoe-in for me, obviously providing that he is going to be sort of the replacement and get some good minutes there. Okay, let's go to halfbacks. Now, some of you might think this is crazy, but I'm not starting with Hines or Nathan Cleary. Now, the reason I actually I can't remember last season, but I didn't start with one of them. And even then, like, it kind of worked out. There was something I did in a season where I didn't start with Nathan Cleary and Hines, and they had like really slow starts. Now, I would love to start with Cleary, but their opening draw is really, really tough. And who cares if he's bulletproof? I think you can sort of wait this out. I also do believe in the Roosters and their attack this season. And, Penrith come against Broncos away, Sharks, Sydney Roosters, Para Melbourne, which is not too bad, but then Bulldogs away, and then Dolphins away, Newcastle away. So for me, I'm more than happy to bring him in around that Para game, or to try and bring him in around the Dolphins away match where they have Dolphins, Newcastle, Manly, Canberra, St. George bye. I'm more than happy to do that. If I can get 50 grand off him, that would be amazing. Now, if he starts and Panthers start and they're guns blazing and they're amazing, well, it is what it is. Do I see it happening? Not really. Do I see a lot of points being scored? Not really, but who knows? But I'm really happy with Sam Walker pick. Now, I wish he was a tiny bit cheaper, but I do think Sydney Roosters are going to be in tight contention for, look, I'm not going to say the premiership, but definitely being one of the teams that has the most points over total points in the season. Their team just breathes, we are going to drop 50 to 60 points on you this game if you cannot defend. And Sam Walker is going to be all around that. He's the kicker for the team. He is an absolute try assist machine. And I think the only watch is, how is he going to go with DCE? And if things look a bit awkward there and he's not doing as much because of it, then I'll reevaluate and most probably look at going to maybe someone like a Moses, even a Jamal Fogarty, depending on the draw. But yeah, there's going to be a change there. And I do like the Mitchell Moses pick because he's going to be goal kicking again. So that's my easy sort of change up there. But again, I just love Sam Walker. Again, he returns from a really bad injury and just dominated in the NRL. And I think he's going to have a Dally M-like season, to be honest with you. And I don't want to miss out on it. And I just really believe in the pick. And that's what you got to do in NRL Supercoach. When you believe in the picks, you put them in and go with your instinct. Now, second halfback, we know. It's one of the Canberra halves. I think it's Kobe Black for memory. Or Cody Black. I'm pretty sure it's Kobe. And then Ethan Sanders. Whoever gets that spot, shoe in halfback too. Don't need to talk about that too much. $201,400 for Mr. Black, we shall call him. Next in my 5/8s, I have Munster and Pezzett. Now, the reason I've gone with Munster is I just think, even though I think Melbourne Storm are going to be leaking a lot of points this season, I do still think their opening draw is quite nice, and I think Cameron Munster is the absolute vocal point of this team, and I don't want to miss out on him getting an easy 90 in a game where they might score 20 to 30 points, and he's just been all around the map, sort of being the what do they call it? The guy with the conductors. Man, I'm having a mind blank. But, the leader of the orchestra, the conductor, right? Yeah, the conductor. Gosh, I nearly had a mind blank there. So Parramatta at home, St. George away, Broncos, then North Queensland away, and that Broncos game's at home for Melbourne as well. And then they have Penrith away, New Zealand, Canberra away, South, Dolphins away, West Tigers. So not a bad opening sort of 9-10 games there. And I think I just want him in. I don't want to go anywhere else. I don't want to go to Dakota Walker. I don't care about the cheapies. Give me Munster and then Pezzett as my 5/8 2. I'm completely fine with that. And Bob's your uncle. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory there. Pezzett, easy cheapie, who I think will just soak in some points here and there, make you a bit of cash slowly, because Parramatta again might have a tough opening 4 games, but we shall see how that works out. And I want to see how Moses does without Lomax there too. All right, center W's. I think this is going to be the hardest part of Supercoach, and I really think whoever successfully gets most of their centers right is going to get off to a flyer. For me, I'm really skeptical on where I'm at the moment. But the one thing I would say I'm happy with, pardon me, is Karaz. And maybe Meany, but definitely Karaz. I can't go to Herbie Farnworth because if he has a slow start in the first 2 games, which he may not, this 3rd and 4th game is actually quite tough, where they're versing Sharks away and Broncos away into Manly, which we don't know by then they could start gelling into a bye into Penrith. That's a bit rough for me. I think a lot of people are going to look at the first 2 games and go, oh, Souths and Gold Coast, I have to have Herbie, and I can't do that. I'm just going to wait and then get him at another period. Kiraz for me, $746,700. Really happy with that. I think he can easily make us money this year as well. Bulldogs have St. George. I don't care about bye 2. They have Canberra away. And then from there, they have Newcastle, South away, Penrith, who could still leak a bit of points, Para away, Broncos away, North Queensland, Dolphins away. I mean, I think Bulldogs, they're really trying to put forward the point that they want to be premiers. This could be the season for it. So yeah, I think I'm just going to stick with Kiraz. And I think a lot of people will be scared of the buy, and that's why I want to jump on him and just have him from the get-go. Latrell Mitchell, $626,800. This will only happen if he's in center for me, or fullback. If he randomly, like if Cody Walker got injured and he had to go into the halves or just something like that, I don't know how I'd feel. But for now, he's in there. Out of all the picks, this is the pick that scares me the most, to be honest with you. 1, because of his position. 2, because they have Dolphins away and Sydney away, and we know how he can be with Sydney Roosters away. It can be the big grudge match where he can do some silly things. And do I want to risk a sin bin or silly penalties? Not really. Into West Tigers and bye. So if there's anyone right now that I'm really scared of having in my team and maybe want to get rid of and just not start with, it's Latrell Mitchell. $626,000 is not a cheap price either. So yeah, really that's my only thing at the moment that I'm not 100% on. Next, Nick Meany. I actually really don't mind this pick. He can easily get above 60 points in a game. He's also going to be the 100% goal kicker. He also has the potential to easily be the fullback now if they want more experience, putting Fa'alogo into like the centers or wing. So there's a lot of things that could happen there. And he's 1 injury away in terms of someone in the team. He's just becoming a fullback again. If Fa'alogo goes down, he goes to fullback, it's going to be amazing. If things happen where maybe he needs to go to the wing, he's a very versatile player where he can fit multitude of positions like center, wing, and fullback, and I really like that. And the fact that he's the 100% the kicker now only gives me a bit more confidence. And as I said, I don't mind the Melbourne opening draws, so that's why I've got him in at $598,100. Next, I have Sam Stone Street at $496,100. In my opinion, I'd love him to be a bit cheaper. $500,000 for Sam Stone Street is a bit meh. But in saying that, this could be a Bostock, this could be someone else. But again, Mulatalo's injury hurts them. What side does he play on? Is he going to be someone that I'm 100% on? No. Is he someone that can easily rack up 3 tries in a game with the way his Sharks play? Yes. He's a try-scoring machine, this guy. I think he has a lot of talent, and I think 496 isn't too unreasonable. So that's why I went with Sam Stone Street. Look, to be honest with you, with my center wing cheapies, don't take it with a grain of salt. The biggest one here is hopefully and likely Macassini for West Tigers will get a run. The other two for St. George, don't look into. I just wanted to chuck in some people that I think maybe had a possibility of playing, but likelihood is not, and we'll just add cheapies in there when the time comes for preseason. But I think it's Nick Sugranis for St. George and Siona 2, or I might have got that completely incorrect. Fullbacks, last but not least, pardon me, I've gone with Tedesco, Ponga, and Fa'alogo. Now, the biggest question, and some of you may be laughing and going, why has this guy not gone Keanu Kinney? The reason I haven't gone Keanu Kinney is they play their first 3 games away. He's coming back from a major injury. I want to see how Gold Coast perform as a team with a new coach. And I think there's space where Keanu Kinney might need some time to come back into his role. And he'll be a bit nervous, no doubt, with the injury. Doesn't want to get re-injured. He hasn't played in a long, long time. So I think there's a space where we can get to Kinney maybe a tiny bit later, maybe around the St. George Parramatta mark, maybe Parramatta in round 6 after they verse Broncos. They go Parramatta, New Zealand, by Canberra, Sydney Roosters, Newcastle, Manly. Again, that's a bit iffy as well, but I'm not sold on Gold Coast. Is the team still going to fall apart, or are they going to be this new cauldron that are just going to absolutely have a much better season? I don't know. And I think a lot of people are rushing to Kinney, where I'd rather rush to Fa'alogo, who's in a better machine of a team, who's in a team that have won multiple premierships, around premiership and origin players, around a team that he knows how to play with in terms of the set pieces. He took over for Pappenhausen when Pappenhausen was injured last season. Now, if that goes haywire, any of these, I can just go across to Kinney. It's no issue. I can go Ponga to Kinney, I can go Fa'alogo to Kinney, and hopefully I don't have to go to Tedesco to Kinney. So I'm not worried about that. I really like Tedesco. I want someone that I can call my certified captain. He's definitely a possible captaincy pick against New Zealand away. He's definitely a captaincy pick against Souths in those first 2 rounds. And same as Ponga. Ponga is easily a captaincy pick against North Queensland when they have a home game. They have Manly away, then they have New Zealand. This is something that I could easily vice captain. And so is Fa'alogo. Like, this guy is a great, great player. All he is needed is an opportunity, and here it is. So I'm not putting any shade on Kinney. I'm not trying to say he's definitely not going to do good. It could be an awful read by me, but that's the way I'm looking at it. And if I have to burn a trade just to go across to Kinney, I will. No stress whatsoever. And that's my team, guys. That is my team overall. I hope you liked it. $64,100 was in the remaining salary. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what you change, what you hate. If you just disagreed with anything I spoke about in like the way that I was sort of going in depth or in detail about certain things. And yeah, I'm really intrigued also. I guess the biggest talking point for me is not starting with Sam Walker, not starting with Nathan Cleary and going with like a Sam Walker sort of run. But let me know what you think, guys. Again, any type of support would be greatly appreciated. Like, subscribe, comment for the algorithm. And yeah, if you have any tips, any type of feedback, let me know. Thank you so much for the support. I hope you enjoyed this first team reveal for the Suspicious Tomatoes. I want to get top 1K again. I want to go for first place. I want to go for it. So we're going to go hard this season. Hopefully we go well, and I'll see you on the next one. This is the Ray Traders. Wolfie here. Take care, guys, and peace.